Hi guys, it's Doreen and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the show 13 Reasons Why and 13 major differences that there are between the book and the show. Starting off, I quickly want to say this because while watching the show, this kind of blew my mind. Wait, really quick, stop right there. There are going to be a lot of spoilers in this video, so if you haven't finished the show yet, or if you haven't watched it, I really highly recommend for you guys to go watch it. And if not, and you don't care if you already finished it or you just kind of want to know some things, then keep watching. As I was watching the show, the character Jessica looked really familiar to me, and I was trying to pinpoint what it was. There was just something about her that I was like, you look so familiar. I googled what the actress's name was, and it turns out she went to my middle school, and I'm like, hold up. I even have the yearbook to show you guys that she was in one of my classes, so that's really cool. So shout out to Alicia Bowe. So with that being said, let's get started. So difference number one is that in the book, Clay listens to all the tapes in one night. So if you're at all frustrated by Clay's slow progress through Hannah's tapes in the show, you'll be surprised of the way that Asher originally chose to do it. After receiving the box of tapes on his doorstep, Clay binges them in one sitting. In the show, Tony tells Clay that he's the slowest yet of all the listeners. Difference number two, social media doesn't factor into Hannah's bullying. Sites like Facebook and Twitter certainly existed when Asher published the novel in 2007, but they had yet to be as popular as they are now. There are references in Clay's cell phone, but all the photos of Hannah and Justin and Tyler are spread through the school via group text in the series, but are only word-of-mouth gossip in the book. Difference number three, Clay doesn't have hallucinations about Hannah. Some of the more shocking scenes in the show happen when Clay has visions of Hannah bleeding out in the middle of the gym and at the school dance. It is mentioned that he used to take duloxetine to treat an anxiety disorder, which is why he can only handle listening to one tape at a time. This never happens in the book. Difference number four, Clay injures himself in another way. Distraught and distracted by the tapes, Clay slams his bike into a car in the first episode, cutting his head. In the book, he gets a cut on his hand from a fence. I personally think that this happened in the show like that to kind of distinguish between the past and the present, because in the present he'd always have that cut on his head with the little band-aid. And honestly, the scene where he's rock climbing with Tony and then Tony slips, or his hand slips, and one of the rock falls onto Clay's head, I honestly felt like that was just to kind of put the cut back as if it was already healing. So, oh no, we need to put that back. So have something happen to him where we still have that cut and it's still very distinguishable. That's just my thoughts on that, but I could be wrong. Difference number five, the order of the tapes is different. In this show, Clay is the 11th person to receive the tapes and chooses to skip number 12, Bryce, a rapist who would probably destroy the tapes if he got them, and gives them to the last person on the list instead, Mr. Porter. The resolution is less clear in the novel since Clay is the 9th on the list and simply mails them off to number 10. There also aren't any scenes of his classmates conspiring to keep the tapes from being discovered. Difference number six, Clay never confronts Bryce or records his confession. Because the order of the tapes is so different in the book and none of the kids are trying to stop Clay from listening to all of them, Clay doesn't try to bring Bryce to justice for his actions. He never records a confession of raping Hannah or gives side 14 to Mr. Porter. Difference number seven, in the book there isn't a lawsuit. The Bakers only appear in the book briefly, and their lawsuit against the school doesn't exist. The only time they come up is when someone mentions they closed down their shoe store, which is replaced by a pharmacy in the show, in the wake of their daughter's suicide. This now brings me to difference number 8, which is Hannah's suicide is done differently. The scene of Hannah killing herself by slicing her wrists open with a razor blade is extremely graphic and difficult to watch. It is a huge departure from Asher's original portrayal of her death, which is referenced only when Clay says she swallowed a handful of pills. Difference number 9 is that Monet's crew has a different motto. In an effort to update the book, Hannah, Alex, and Jessica's motto goes from Ollie Ollie Oxenfree to FML. Difference number 10 is that Sherry has a different name. In the book, a nice cheerleader named Jenny Kurtz chats with Hannah during the Dollar Valentine fundraiser, and is later responsible for knocking over the stop sign that causes Jeff to die. Jenny is changed to Sherry on the show and pursues a relationship with Clay that she doesn't originally. Speaking of Jeff, he's a much more minor character in the book. It's not hard to crush on Jeff throughout the show. As a popular, well-meaning baseball player who takes pity on Clay's ineptitude with girls, he's instantly lovable, which makes his sudden death in a car crash because of Sherry knocking over the stop sign that much more painful. He still dies in the book, but his character is a senior that none of the other main characters are friends with. It doesn't have as big of an impact on Clay's life. Difference number 12. Alex doesn't attempt suicide. Alex Standall openly struggles with fitting in at school and is remorse over what the group has done to Hannah in the show. And a scene of him dropping in Bryce's pool at one point suggests that he doesn't necessarily want to come up for air. It is revealed in the finale that he shoots himself in the head, but not if he survives. None of this happens in the book. And finally, that leaves us with difference number 13, which is that the book's ending is a lot less complex. After listening to Hannah's tapes and wishing that he could have picked up on the signs, Book Clay reaches out to an old friend, Sky, who's been showing signs of depression. This also happens in the show, but since there's likely going to be a second season, more storylines are left open. Tyler's violent plans, Alex attempted suicide, the Baker's lawsuit, Sherry turning herself in, Bryce rapes coming to light, and more. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in my next video next time. Bye!